Yes, of course there are people criticizing the Blockout 2024 celebrity block list. There always will be. I don't want you guys to get discouraged by that. It doesn't matter what we do. They're going to criticize us. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't be open to constructive feedback. I made a video the other day referencing Sim Kern's video giving feedback and the importance of it. But some of you need to distinguish between feedback and just haters. When Operation Watermelon first started, tons of people were shitting on it. Operation Olive Branch, bunch of people have shit on it. There are always going to be people that make it their business to be the professional shit throwers that don't have anything to say that is constructive, but just to shit all over something and the people trying to do it. The point of this, alongside everything else we're doing, including boycotting, including calling our representatives, including protesting, was to center the Palestinians again, because we know that these apps censor any content talking about it. And it was to also simultaneously make it uncomfortable for rich and powerful elite celebrities to not say anything with their massive platform. Because of course, I keep seeing people come into my comments and be like, well, why don't you just protest? We are protesting. Why don't you call your representatives? We are. Why don't you boycott? We are. When people say that, they're not saying it in good faith. They're just saying it because they're trying to undermine it. The same way that people will come into your comments when you're talking about Gaza and be like, what about Yemen? The point is to mess with their algorithm and make it so that they're not making as much money off of us. And I also referenced Reverse Canary Mission that has a list on their website that is organized that we can go off of. Anyway, what I care about is what the Palestinians have to say about this, especially those in Gaza. And I have heard multiple people in Gaza and personally tell me that they are happy about this initiative. So that's who I'll be listening to. And on the criticisms of the celebrity block list, I want to briefly talk about the comments that Hasan made. Oh, look, it's me. This was his stream the other day talking about it, and this is what he said.
Great overall. The problem with, blocked list celebrities or whatever is that ultimately it's super easy to bastardize. It's super easy to co-opt, especially if it's not directed by like a organization or anything like that. And it probably has already been co-opted. And there will be a lot of energy channeled in, I suspect, the worst possible directions rather than productive directions. It might get some celebrities to, like, out of fear, genuinely speak out and engage in like some kind of performative activism in order to not get yelled at. So overall, I think it's cool, whatever. And I also don't give a shit if you block celebrities or not. So I don't personally care about this. I do think, however, that, people will most likely end up blocking a ton of people and it will be yelled at. Once it reaches like peak momentum, people will yell at it and call it stupid and silly, which it kind of, just pressure your representatives, use organizations that are already existing long before you started paying attention to Israel or Palestine, and engage in protests and keep pressuring not your celebrity crushes or your favorite celebrities, but instead, send emails and phone calls to your representatives and go out and protest. It's just one of those things where it's impossible to convince people to use this momentum and energy in the right direction when they've already made up their minds that this is the best possible thing they can do, because it's especially easy to do.
I like Hasan, but this take is not it. No one said that this was the end-all be-all. He said, call your congresspeople. We are. Protest. We are. Get involved with organizations. We are. One of the reasons we started doing this was because the content that we were making trying to raise awareness and money for Operation Olive Branch was getting suppressed by the app. And there are so many families that it's incredibly overwhelming because there simply aren't enough of us. So we're trying to raise awareness about that. And there are a lot of celebrities, and it's not just celebrities, it's giant content creators on this app that see that and ignore it and could use their voice to amplify those campaigns. I don't know why people always act like everything has to be mutually exclusive. It doesn't. We can do multiple things at once. Boycotting and doing the celebrity block list and calling our representatives and going to protest and donating to organizations like Operation Olive Branch and legacy organizations like Doctors Without Borders and UNRWA. Can there be legitimate critiques and constructive criticism about this? Of course, like there can be with anything. And are there people that always try to co-opt these kinds of things? Of course there are. We can't control people. But you don't look at annoying people or people that are trying to co-op it and just throw out the entire idea. And I don't like my comrade over here just like minimizing it and being like, oh, you're just blocking your favorite celeb. This isn't about that. I literally didn't even follow any of the celebrities that I went out of my way to block. The purpose of doing that is to mess with their capital, to mess with their money, their views, their engagement, and their sales in order to get them to, do, as he said in kind of a snide way, performative activism. Activism by definition is performative. You are trying to draw attention to things. The problem with activism is not when it's performative, it's when it doesn't have a goal. When activism that you're doing doesn't actually have a goal, then it's like, okay, so why are you doing this? The performative part is not the problem. That's part of the point. All protests are performative. The question is, do you have a goal? And we do have a goal. The goal is to make them feel uncomfortable enough to where they use their massive power and influence for good. And then he said, oh, well, you might be able to get a couple of celebrities out of fear to do it. I don't care why they're doing it. I don't care if they do it insincerely. I don't care if they do it out of fear. I don't care if they do it out of performance art. That's not the point. The point is, they're using their influence and visibility to draw awareness to millions and millions of people. That is the point. Their intentions are irrelevant. Whose intentions matter? Ours. And our intentions need to have a purpose. It can't just be, oh, we're blocking them because I don't like Selena Gomez's new song. No, it has to have intention. I agree. And the intention is to block the celebrities and the influencers that have massive money, power, wealth, and influence that are working with Zionist companies and that are refusing to use their platforms to speak out about the genocide in Gaza. Don't worry, brother. You're not on that list because you've been speaking about Palestine for a long time. It's going to be okay, everybody. Also, I'll admit, I kind of have a soft spot for Hasan just because I love Cenk so much. But I would block them if they were on the wrong side of this. But they're not. Both of them are on the right side of this. Just go watch some of the debates Cenk has done. He's fire. Anyway, the point is, don't get distracted and don't get discouraged. Yes, there is constructive feedback that can be had about this, but there are always going to be people that call it stupid. There are always going to be people that try to co-opt it. That is not a sufficient reason to abandon something. The answer is to be accountable to each other, to make sure that we're continuing to do this for the right reasons, to center the reason why we are doing this, which is the genocide in Gaza, and to continue to work on being organized and targeted. Target people that are actually hurting the cause, that aren't speaking out, that are working with Zionists. As I've said many times, if you don't know where to start, Reverse Canary Mission is an excellent place to start. They have a long list and they have the reasons for it in the list.